City News on TV Rotorua is proudly brought to you by Rotorua Central.
Kia ora Rotorua tonight on City News. Mayor Steve Chadwick backgrounds the council's name change to Rotorua Lakes Council. White ribbon motorcycle riders encourage locals to make the pledge and stop violence towards others. And the Sculpture Symposium kicks off at the Arts Village. The council has changed its trading name to the Rotorua Lakes Council as part of a brand refresh. Mayor Steve Chadwick says it's an important and symbolic change.
Well, our council has made a momentous decision that we're going to change our trading name. We will still officially be the Rotorua District Council, but we will be known all throughout New Zealand and internationally as the Rotorua Lakes Council. So we decided it was a better describer of what we are, inland lakes dwellers. And that was a great decision for us. We're only going to bring this change in over time, slowly, so when we run out of business cards, that's when we'll get some more printed. It's not going to be a dramatic overnight change, and they call that a stage change. So we thought that was a great way at the end of the year to finish a very busy year of change here at Council with the organisation, and change of direction with our Vision 2030. And now we've changed the name, and I hope you're excited about that too.
The new branding will incorporate 3 colour formats for various uses. Blue represents the district's lakes and waterways, green the land, forest and parks, and orange to acknowledge the volcanic and geothermal elements. Celebrating whānau was the catch cry at Saturday's White Ribbon event at the Village Green. Star guests at the event were the White Ribbon motorcycle riders, led by veteran White Ribbon campaigner Aaron Morrison.
On behalf of the whānau standing here in front of you, first of all, greetings to you, the Mayor, to our kaumātua for our mihi this morning, and to everybody that's here, huge greetings. I'd also like to acknowledge the local bike clubs, the Nongataha Boys, Tangata Whenua and the Sulphur City Riders, and all of those independent riders from this rohe that have gathered here today. And at the end of the day, we made a promise, and that promise is to never commit, condone or to remain silent about violence towards women. That's their mothers, their sisters. So that we, as adults standing here today, make that promise to make our New Zealand, Aotearoa, a better place. And the kaupapa is simple: no more hitting our women. They are a taonga. They are to be respected. A catch cry that a rōpū came up with, an organising committee a couple of years back, headed by Heather Pearson, and that catch cry was whakamana wahine, respect women. If we all remember that as we walk through life, Rotorua is going to be the best place on earth, as well as the next town, the next town and the next town. If you want a kōrero to somebody, come and have a kōrero to these fine people up here. They've walked it, they've talked it, they've gone through the borstals, they've gone through the prisons, they've gone through the gangs, they've been there, done that. Make change now. Make change now.
Rotorua's aspiring movie stars were out on Saturday auditioning as extras for Walt Disney's remake of the 1977 classic Pete's Dragon. The company will shoot the action film in New Zealand early next year, using locations in the Bay of Plenty, Wellington and Canterbury. A general casting call was held at the Arts Village on Saturday and in Rotorua on Sunday. The movie will blend live action and computer-generated imagery to tell the story of a special bond between an orphan boy named Pete and his best friend Elliot, a dragon. And blocks of Oamaru limestone were delivered to the Arts Village for the start of this year's Sculpture Symposium. The symposium is on for 2 weeks with the theme this year of the Returning Soldier. Works created this year will be exhibited along the Sulphur Lake Sculpture Trail and form part of next year's 100th anniversary commemorations of the Gallipoli landings during the First World War. And in sport tonight, in cricket, Caris Mount Maunganui have booked a Baywide Cup final berth with one round of qualifying playing remaining after defeating arch rivals Element IMF Cadets at the Tauranga Domain on Saturday. And while the Mount has secured a final spot, their opponents has yet to be decided, as it's between either Cadets or Greerton and will be based on results from the last qualifying round next weekend. Let's look at the weather now for Rotorua. Tonight, showers, some heavy, southwesterly winds, an overnight low of 4. And for tomorrow, Tuesday, fine with southerly breezes, a high of 18 and a low of 4. And looking forward to Wednesday, you can look forward to it. It's fine weather with light winds, a high of 20 and a low of 7. And for the marine forecast for the lake, southerlies 15 knots, easing to 10 knots in the evening, waves less than half a metre, and again, mainly fine. And coming up on City News, we're with Annette Stock and Sue Gunn for an update on the literacy program. We find out about the new fitness craze hula ora taking hold in the city, and we catch up with Enduro race manager Neil Gallatley.
Well, hello Rotorua. If you're out there in the community looking for something to do, or if you'd love to inspire young children, then there is a program here for you. Te wā kōrero ngā tamariki, or otherwise known as Time to Talk to Our Tamariki. With me today, I'm joined by two wonderfully inspiring women. We've got Annette Stock here, who is the founder of TKT, or Tēnā Kōrero Wā Tamariki, and also past president Sue Gunn from Rotary Rotorua Sunrise. Did I say that one correctly?
Yes, you did.
Okay, wonderful. So these two individuals have conspired and got together to help our community schools, well, one in particular thus far, in our oral language development, would you say? So let's talk about the program with you first, if we may. Annette, and what is the program? What does TKT do?
Basically, it's getting tutors trained so they can come and spend time with tamariki on a one-on-one basis. Because for many children, their oral language hasn't developed to a level that would be sustainable for formal learning to take place. So we want to spend time between the volunteers and the tamariki talking and playing games and having that sort of relationship.
So when they get to school, if their oral language hasn't developed, what implications does that have for their learning?
Oh, it can have serious implications. It can hold up their formal learning right through their school. I look at it as sort of a bit of an Achilles heel. And of course, if you look at it long term, the new research is currently showing that youth offending is based on lack of oral language competency.
So not only does it affect you when it's time to start learning, but it also affects you right into your future when you're an adult. And obviously that must come through the level of confidence that you have during school and carrying that forth.
And into the workforce as well.
Yeah, absolutely, into the workforce, because when it comes to school, it's a time where you have to comprehend what's being taught to you correctly, and if you do not have the comprehension, if you do not have the words or understand the words, then that must leave you behind.
It does, because a child really develops their oral language competency by the time they're 5 years old, which I don't think a lot of people actually realise.
So you can teach them all kinds of words and they'll be capable of learning those words?
Well, if you look at a basic level of a 5-year-old, that's when they know how to put words together, they know how to put sentences together and understand a basic language. From there on in, we just develop that in a more complex form, but the basis of that is all there by the time a child is normally 5.
So when did you and the Rotary Club of Rotorua Sunrise get on board with this program?
Well, it was probably back in August 2013, and I've worked, and seen students struggle with language at Wairiki and numeracy and literacy, and I thought, it's a real focus for Rotary International, and why should we work internationally when we've got it happening in our own backyard? So we got together with Annette and looked at what can we do to support some of the oral language programs and initiatives that she has basically had sitting in Pandora's box and really needed to let out. So it was really a team collaborative effort. She had done some initial work with Western Heights Primary School, and they seem to be very, very keen to have a program come in and have us support it, fund it, and provide the volunteers. So it was a really good partnership.
Yeah, so it sounds like a vehicle here. You've got the steering wheel and then you've got the motor helping to drive that. So how have your volunteers and the Rotary Club enjoyed the program thus far?
It's been hugely rewarding. First of all, we had to learn how to be volunteer tutors, which most of us, we're not ex-school teachers or anything like that. We have business people, and so we were very open to wanting to learn how we could contribute and work one-on-one with the students. And so Annette took us through how to do the reading program, or do the storytelling really, and get the children talking and getting them to have the conversation and for them to express themselves and their ideas. And so we built that around the books and some games and the rhyme, and it took probably a term for us to really feel confident in being volunteer tutors. And then we were given it in little time slots, so you got given the lesson, then you had time to go and practice it on the children. And you've developed very special relationships with these children because you are working with them one-on-one. And I think it's just been really hugely rewarding. And we see a tremendous change in their confidence, and they look forward to seeing you, and they can't wait to see what book you've got or game you've got to play. And of course we've got lots of lovely little puppets that we have as well, and they find it very engaging and very interesting.
That's good. Well, thank you so very much to both of you for your time and spending this wonderful sunny day with me. Now, there you have it, Rotorua community, te wā kōrero ngā tamariki. Get out there and help. You could potentially become a teacher one day just by experiencing what it's like to work with children.
Well, if you're driving along Ferry Springs Road and you turn left into Maisie Place, not far after that turn there's an amazing place. It's called Pacific MMA. It's a gym, relatively new in some of the things that they're offering here, but it's specifically geared towards the Pacific community here in Rotorua and the surrounding area. It's run by TJ Masters and his wife Gina. We have to mention Gina too because she's part of the whole picture. Hey, welcome aboard. Great to be chatting with you. You've got an amazing setup here, and I know there's some Pacific Island drums in the background here, which kind of like it's a good place for us to start. A bit of a background on how come they're here and how they actually get used now.
It was a family
idea.
It was a family idea, to get our young ones and our immediate family together, and then we have a lot of what they call a lot of functions, family functions that we have to go to, and we normally play the drums and the kids dance, and then we just thought, to keep us up with it, once a week we'll incorporate it in the gym.
So it's a good way, I guess, TJ, to keep the younger people involved and keep the culture alive. That's pretty important now, eh?
Yes, it is. And also show the other people of Rotorua that there is something that people can enjoy and not feel shy and come down and do the fitness. It's based as a fitness program, really.
That's your hula ora, obviously, and I want to talk about that because that's basically something that people of all sizes and shapes and relative fitnesses and so on can get involved and still enjoy. A little bit about how that came about, because you do use the drums for that. It's not music as such, it's just the drums.
We had a few people inquire about, they were, like wanting to lose weight and, mainly. And then they said, what more can we do as a low impact? You know, so we started as a low impact class, and then as the weeks go on, it gets high impact, but it's done at a gradual. And it's good, you know, the music goes, you know, once the drums start growing, people naturally start moving.
I was talking to Gina, your wife, before we started interviewing about the whole thing. When the drums start, doesn't matter who's standing around or whatever, you can't help but start moving. It's infectious, I guess.
Yes, it is. You know, once a beat goes, and then all of the guys are smiling that are playing in the group, and you know they, and then it just the movement of the beat there, and then our main lead lady, you know, she gets everyone going and she smiles at them, so it gets them all comfortable, and you know, where we go. You made a good point too, TJ, is that it's not high impact. It's something that other people can. It's for their well-being, obviously, and their fitness, but also the lifestyle aspect of balancing exercise and food and so on. So there's no obligation to like wear yourself out entirely. No, and what we've had a lot of the ladies that are doing some of our other classes, you know, they've come in and they've brought friends, you know, that said, oh, you know, it might be too hard going, but it isn't. You know, it's a low impact class. It's actually quite a comfortable, you know, that anybody can, you know, go to. Even young fellas like me. Yeah, you'll do well. A lot of other good things happening here at the Pacific MMA. MMA in itself, of course, the mixed martial arts. You've got the boxing ring that we're standing in here, or the ring, competitive ring here. But you mentioned also earlier before when we were talking that it's not necessarily classified as fighting what you do here. It's actually competitive and it's competing. It's good to emphasise that, isn't it? Yes, at a higher level, you've got to address it as that, because people in that sort of mindset sort of see a cage or they see a ring and they sort of look at it like, oh, you know, it's a real brutal sport. But they don't realise that the guys that actually compete at that level train very hard to condition for it. Come back just finally to the hula ora, the class you've got with the drums and so on. How do people get in touch with you, and how can they get involved if they're watching right now and they think, oh, that could be for me? Maybe they look on the Facebook, you know, like we'll put it on Facebook and on our Facebook page, and it's, you know, sort of taken off. You know, people are inquiring every day, or you know, you can phone the office, you can phone my wife, and yeah. So if they haven't got the rhythm, they soon will have. Yeah, no, definitely. Appreciate your time. You're doing a great job here, and particularly for the, as you say, for the Pacific Island community. It's open to everybody, but particularly the Pacific Island community. So if you're watching right now and you've been thinking about, hey, losing a bit of weight or having a bit of fun, there's a social aspect to it as well. Get in touch with TJ and Gina down here at Pacific MMA, and I don't think you'll regret it. Thanks for your time too. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us at Rotorua. With me today we have Neil Gallatley, and he is an avid mountain biking individual, plus he runs a lot of events here in Rotorua but also up and down the country. Did you know that the World Enduro Series is coming to Rotorua in 2015? If not, guess what? There are some wild card entries available for you to grab. Neil, let's talk about this World Enduro Series. How long has that been going for?
Sure, that's been going for 2 years now. So 2015 will be its third year, and basically it travels to events around the world, and we've secured here in Rotorua round one of the 2015 Enduro World Series, and the event it's coming to is the Crankworx Rotorua Enduro.
Okay, and is that why it's called the Crankworx Rotorua Enduro, because it's actually going to be here at Crankworx next year?
That's right, okay. That's right. But it carries a title with it, and that's the round one of the Enduro World Series. So all of those Enduro riders will be competing for points in one of 8 events around the world next year.
Now, as far as events are concerned, it's probably one of the biggest, ranking in the top 5?
That's right. The Enduro World Series is, well, it's only been around a short time, and it's the 4th biggest mountain bike event in the world. And it falls within the biggest, which is Crankworx. So it's going to be a big time in Rotorua next March.
It's going to be hugely busy. Now, you do have some spots open for wildcards, but first let's talk about wildcards. What are wildcard riders?
Wildcard riders are basically positions that the event organiser gets given by the, in this case, the Enduro World Series, to look after top riders, public personalities, really just to create greater public interest for the local event. So we've got now 25, and we are filling those a number of different ways.
Okay. So 25 wildcard riders, what are they made up of?
Well, fortunately, the Enduro World Series has already reserved 9 of New Zealand's best riders from their positions in previous or last season and events around the world. So we don't have to worry about them. What we've done with our 25, it was 20 and it's gone to 25, so we can get a few more in, is we've looked at the New Zealand Mountain Bike Crown rankings for enduro riders, and we've dropped down a further 10 places in the men's field and a further 5 places in the females field. So we can assure those riders positions in round 1, and they needn't have to worry about entering with the public entry when that goes live around the world in January.
Well, they're incredibly lucky because the rest of the world will be gunning for a spot at least in this event. Now, how did you pick these riders?
Well, those riders were basically picked on their performances in the New Zealand Mountain Bike Crown. They did a number of events around the country and gained points, and obviously the highest in the points table got those positions. We have a further 10 riders who I've got up 10 positions I've got up my sleeve to select riders from, and we're currently asking for expressions of interest. And those riders will be chosen again on their performances in past events, both here in New Zealand and around the world. So if you think you've got what it takes, you've got some good enduro performances under your belt, then you just need to make contact and we'll put you in the running for those 10 remaining spots.
Okay, so for anyone out in the audience or in our public and community that would like to participate, give it a go, where do they sign up? Where do they find more information?
Well, there's been a few media releases. If you go to the Crankworx website, and in there you'll be able to contact the organisers of Crankworx, and they'll be in touch with me. That's probably the best way. And so if they express their interest through those channels, then I'll soon get it.
Wonderful. Hey, thank you so much for your time, Neil. It's been informative and a pleasure. Thank you. So there you have Rotorua. If you know of anybody, or if you there sitting on your couch watching this would like to enter into one of the most prolific and exciting events in the world coming to you 2015, go see Crankworx online.
And that was Enduro race manager Neil Gallatley talking with Melanie Groves. If you have a story idea or would like to contact the station, you can call us on 07 3488 984, or of course email us at news@tvrotorua.co.nz. Thanks for watching and having us at your place for Māori.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
City News on TV Rotorua was proudly brought to you by Rotorua Central.